you, because today a council has been criticised. This is the council in Sutton in London has been criticised for telling its staff not to ask people for their Christian names. They've said the question could be offensive. This has been described by many as hypersensitivity taken to ridiculous lengths. But I wouldn't want to call you Isabel if you were offended. It caused anxiety, made you take 4 weeks off work. If you prefer me to call you Mrs. Oakeshott, I will.
Or you could call me Izzy. I mean,
all right, Izzy, let's get busy. Let's do... No, sorry, that was crap. Go on.
Is it the Christian bit that might cause offence? Say, what's your Christian name? I suppose that no one asks that anymore, do they?
No, they get no. Listen, mate, the whole world's gone mad. This is a good one to start with. You're always here on Breaking News Day, so earlier on, when Sir Keir Starmer was talking about AI and how AI is going to improve the world, that's my impression of his voice when he turned
actually quite good.
Turned the Christmas lights on. 5, 4, 3. No, I don't want the clip at all. He basically was asked by a journalist, will Rachel Reeves, will Rachel Reeves be your Chancellor for the whole of this Parliament? This is what he said very quickly.
Will Rachel Reeves be your Chancellor at the next general election?
I'll be really clear. We're going to stick to the fiscal rules. That is a very important thing that we've said throughout. We set out those fiscal rules.
So basically, Isabel, he couldn't say yes. So all the press jumped on it. Literally 3 minutes ago, Downing Street, who presumably think the Prime Minister's an idiot, have confirmed that Rachel Reeves will be Chancellor for the whole of this Parliament. They have said, following those questions, that put them in a difficult position. So let me get this right. We've got a Prime Minister who won't admit it. Now the machinery of government has said she will be, which means if she turns out to be as bloody useless as everybody knows she is, and he has to sack her, he'll then be made to look even more of an idiot. This government is a joke.
I mean, this is absolutely extraordinary. That is basically kind of, politics 101. This is what the press always ask a Prime Minister when one of his cabinet ministers or even a junior minister is in trouble. They will basically say one of two things. Do you have full confidence in that minister? To which the only answer, if you do, is yes. And if you don't, then you can come up with a form of words, and that is the code to the media that basically that person's on their way out. Or you might be asked, is that person still going to be in their job, by the time of whatever date anyone chooses to ask it?
Sure.
And he should be well enough trained to know what form of words to use in that situation. Instead, we got the usual...
That's a good impression as well.
While he played the time, while that robot brain, I don't have much hope for AI if it's his level of robotics, stirred itself into action. And then he goes... what did he say? He's got, let's be very clear, which is always political
We're
speech.
going to stick to the fiscal responsibility of what we're doing.
The guy just cannot be like a normal person, never mind a proper politician. And he's now really made the worst possible form of answer, hasn't he? Because he's sort of said yes, but no, but. And then under pressure, his people have had to say, yes, she will. But the truth is, I think it's vanishingly unlikely she will. So then he's just going to look even more of a muppet when she inevitably is sacked. Unbelievable.
Before we get onto the serious subject of NHS, I feel like all of us, all 17 of us who listen and watch this programme should join hands and take a breath, because some sad news today politically, Isabel. And I feel we need to share this with people. Nicola Sturgeon, the Jimmy Cranky of politics, has announced that she's getting divorced from her husband, Peter Murrell. This is the couple who are both being questioned at this precise moment in time. He's already been charged for embezzling money out of the SNP. She was thrown out in disgrace. She's also been questioned but hasn't been charged. And very surprisingly, because many of us in politics would have thought they had a rock-solid marriage, try and sound genuine, Jezza, they're getting divorced. Would you like to make a comment about that at all? Isabella?
I can make a number of comments about that. First of all, she's now going to be a tabloid newspaper case study because, as you know, I think it's the 6th of January, which is peak day for filing for divorce. So she's only missed that by a few days. And
Is that the peak day? I never knew that.
Yeah, so it's basically the first Monday of the new year is when everyone decides, right, that's it. We staggered through Christmas. It was hell on earth. We couldn't split up before Christmas, but we'll wait until the new year. That's when people do it. So she's an absolute cliche on that front. And secondly, my goodness, the rumours around her private life have been swirling for a very long time. And I'm not going to get myself into hot water by elaborating on that. But it's actually, I would say, considerably more colourful than what is said about Sir Keir Starmer.
And it's really interesting. It's really interesting. And I've been waiting many months to say this. I was a Boris fan, and then I was upset with what happened. I watched that poisonous little woman try and outdo the government during COVID every single week, the pious nature of so many politicians. And when you strip her bare without, as you quite rightly say, being able to say anything, just go look in the mirror, Cranky, because I'm telling you now, it's unbelievable. And that's all we'll say. And it's so very sad about the divorce. He's probably going to prison, allegedly. I don't know, he might be fined. She's probably going somewhere else with someone else. Anyway, let's move on. One of the biggest look at is, I wish you could see Isabel's face if you're just listening on the radio. One of the things that I wanted to get our teeth into today, and I was just talking not longly enough to Martin Gower, NHS chairman, who's such a good guy to have on. Today we discovered that 500,000 people have laid on hospital trolleys for 12 hours or more in 2024. Ambulance crews by their hundreds are stuck at A&E, missing thousands of 999 calls a day, Isabel. Ryan, who's the producer of this show, was telling me about it. Is he your great uncle? Yeah. 85, really ill, 12 hours on the floor. I mean, I get accused of all sorts of things. This is why I get so angry about immigration, because two things in my mind need to happen. One is we need to get the NHS off this bloody pedestal that we've put it on. I like the sentiment, but it doesn't work anymore. And we need to stop giving help and treatment to people who've not paid a penny or don't deserve it, and making other people suffer who do deserve it, right?
Completely. And actually, I have just put on X a slightly broader version of that sentiment. I've said, look, you know, we know that our catastrophe Chancellor is saying that she's going to be making more savings. You know, today is the day that Downing Street decided to thrill us all with their agenda for cutting waste in government, as if no one's heard that before. Yeah. I think the simplest way to do that would be to, you might give a little bit of notice if you're feeling kind, but to say that basically from now on, no recent immigrants are entitled to any benefits at all. So if you come to this country and you've not paid anything in and you're not working, but even if you are working, there's got to be a period of time before you qualify for any state benefits. There's nothing that there shouldn't be anything that controversial about that. Try and find me many countries where you can just saunter in and immediately get free money.
And this is the point, and this is why I don't understand politics, and I'd be no good at it, because I mean, all the leftists will say that's racist. No, it's not. What it is it's saying very simply to people who have worked hard, who haven't broken the law, who haven't just done, they've not had a handout. They've had nothing. The very basis of what they're promised for living their lives correctly, they are not getting, because other people who are taking advantage and taking the pee out of this country are being put, you know as well as I do. There are private GPs going to taxpayer-funded four-star hotels to make sure immigrants are OK. Now, as I say, the bedwetters will go, but it's been tortuous for them. What, on a tent in France? Try telling that to people north of Watford Gap who are struggling to feed their kids, and they'll say to me, but Jez, you don't understand. These people are escaping war zone areas. Yes, some, but not the majority, as you lot like to point out. The majority come here because we're a soft bleeding touch, aren't we? Isn't that the truth?
We've actually got to the point where we're advertising the free healthcare to immigrants, and watch out for Kev's show tonight. I'll be talking about that with him.
Did you hear the call just now from the girl? 27, she said, I never thought I'd phone this station. She said, I'm in my doctor's surgery the other day. There's a poster up saying, even if you're illegal and have no papers, we'll make sure you're OK. Poster. Put it on Facebook.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'll tell you very quickly, a friend of mine has just recently been diagnosed with cancer. And she's lucky enough to have private healthcare, but she started out on the NHS route because she wanted to use the NHS if possible. And she very quickly gave up because the delays were so ridiculous. She's already had her surgery and is ready to go to the next stage of the treatment. I think she's just been contacted by the NHS about an appointment sometime in the future to discuss the possibility of surgery.
And she's already had it.
She's already had it. You know, she's on to the next stage of the treatment. This is why our cancer outcomes, one of the many prime reasons our cancer outcomes in the UK are so poor. It's not because we don't have brilliant clinicians. It's because there's far too great a wait from even to get your diagnosis. And then each of the stages are just far too prolonged. So, you know, there's a real impact on our own people of this attempt to make it the international health service, not the health service.
And what do you say to the people who would say that you and I are racist for saying that these people deserve it? What would you say to that?
Nothing to do with race at all. It's got to do with whatever colour your skin is, wherever you're from. It is to do with how long you've been here and what you've paid into the system. What I would say is come back to me with examples of countries that do what we do, and you will find that there are literally none that do everything that we do for anyone who comes in with no questions.
And there's nobody in authority, Izzy, you said I could quit. Has nobody gone, hold on a second, that's why we're screwed? When you say, here's a system that will offer free medical care, if you like, at the point of, to everybody, if you then have a much larger population, yes, an older one, I'll accept that, but a larger population because your borders are open and people are streaming into this country because, look, we'll give them this and give them that. Has nobody gone, hold on a minute, if we stop that, everybody else is going to be better off? Why are our politicians afraid of the truth?
I don't get it. You know, I tell you, not all politicians are afraid of the truth, and if we elect the right people, we'll get these types of policy. I could just put it that way.
I think that's very true. Talking of reform, Nigel Farage has today or over the weekend accused Wes Streeting of covering up the truth about grooming gangs. We didn't get a chance to do this last week. Very quickly from me, you're a mother, I'm a father. I think this must go higher and deeper than any of us can possibly imagine, because I don't care what your political persuasion is. The fact that this has been pushed wherever it's been pushed is a national disgrace to me, and I have no, whether it's an inquiry, whether it's people ending up in prison, I don't care if it's the highest to the lowest. This is an absolute stain on the United Kingdom, these rape gangs, aren't they?
It really is, and what is so frightening is the suggestion from multiple sources that this is still going on, and I just can't understand the mentality of anyone who knew this was happening to any young person, or of course any person of any age, but particularly any young children or teenage girls, how they could not do everything in their power to protect those girls and make sure that they were removed from.
But it's become a debate. I had a call from a Muslim guy. I said, "All you talk about is Muslims." I said, "No, I don't. I don't care what the colour, creed, religious. I don't care. This is so morally repugnant that whoever it is done." And frighteningly, this has been going on for 20 years, Isabel. So this has been covered up by many, many different people, be they, I don't know, community leaders, social workers, local police, national police, politicians at the highest or the I don't know. But you know what? I said to somebody, if you looked at our country now and you looked at that, I'm embarrassed, man. It's beyond me. Beyond me.
You're right to be embarrassed, because I can tell you I travel a lot and people overseas are talking about Britain in very embarrassing terms for us. They see what's happening. These headlines are going all around the world, not just about this, but about our channel migrant problem and every other problem we've got. And honestly, people say, what's happened to your country is so sad. You know, that's the kind of language they're using. What has happened to Britain? You've lost yourselves. And it's so horrible to hear that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We really seem to have lost our way on this stuff. I heard a woman that Ian Collins was interviewing earlier on this afternoon trying to claim that this debate was all about denigrating a whole community and it was all about anti-Islam. It's nothing of the sort. It is just a fact that those offenders were predominantly Pakistani.
It's also a fact that the police came out and said, and I quote, "It took us 8 years because we were worried about creating cultural division." And where I come from and you come from, if you break the law so heinously, by the way, by raping young innocent children, you should feel the full threat of the law, irrespective of the colour of your skin, right?
Yeah, or your culture or your religion. I really don't care. You know, I don't care if coming after these people raises some kind of cultural tensions. You come after these people because they've committed terrible crimes.
Because they're rapists.
And people like that caller to Ian Collins' show, when it was an interviewee, are part of the problem. They are precisely why we are where we are, this bleating about racism and, you know, causing cultural tensions and denigrating religion. That's nothing to do with it. And it's people like that actually share a significant responsibility for what's happened.